Hey guys, today I'll be counting down my top 3 Minecraft server hosts that are completely free to use. These are great for plugin testing or playing with friends, but I do not advise using them to host a server that will have an active player base, or if you want to make a real server that you will market and actually own and manage properly. So for my number 3 spot, it will have to go to server.pro. Now, this is pretty good if you want to play with friends. It is very easy to use. Some key features are premium locked, so you will have to buy an actual server from them. I do not recommend buying a server from any of these hosts, even though it may seem good. There are much better deals up there. But let's get started. Now, one thing I noticed right away when I first used it with my friends was the disk. I really like how it shows you disk utilization. A lot of free hosts don't actually show you this. So that is really nice to have, as long with the memory and CPU, which every free server host should and would have. Um, you'll have your IP address and your host name here. This is actually a different type of IP. So if you don't want to use the numbers, you can just send someone this. You can name it whenever you want when you're creating the server. And if you accidentally select the wrong version, you can go to change, or you can scroll all the way down to reinstall, and you can install, you know, Java, Bedrock, or Terraria, and then you can go here, and it'll give you a bunch of different types of Minecraft. And if you want to keep it, let's say vanilla, you can go to the version all the way down to 1.4.7, which is very old. Um, and if you wanted to hard reset the server, you could remove files, and then it'll just delete almost every file from here. Now, the console is also really clean and really nice because I don't know a lot of server hosts that let you see just errors or just warnings. So that's really nice. Or if you don't want to filter it, you can go to the error log and it'll log all your errors for you. Now, the players tab. This is really cool for a free host because you can see all your online players, all your operators. Like, see, I op myself. Let's add ASD, and then give it a second. Boom, ASDF will have operator. I didn't know that was a person. And if you want to remove them from operator, you can just go to remove, and they're deopt. And now the whitelist. If you want to enable whitelist, just press enable, and then add any player you want. Pretty much what whitelist does is makes it so no one, except for whoever you have on here, can log on to the server. So if I have KJK and KJK239, only these two accounts will be able to log on to the server, and everyone else will be kicked right away. And now if you go down the ban list, you can see everyone that you've banned. If you want to player ban someone, just put their name, put their reason, and then it'll give it a second. Boom. It'll give you the date and time of the ban and who it was banned by. So if you do it in here, it'll say server. If you do it on the server, it'll say you're the person that got banned. And the reason, excuse my spelling. Then if you were to IP ban someone, let's use 123.456.789.0. It's not a real IP. And then reason, because I can ban IP. Give it a second. And it'll ban the IP. I don't think it shows up if it's not a real IP, so I don't think it actually worked. But it'll show up here with, instead of just the name, it'll be IP. And it'll say created and reason. Now if you go to the plugin installer, you'll see a bunch of pages of plugins. I mean, there's, I think maybe like 50 pages. I'm not too sure. There's more. But if you go to popularity, it'll give you the how popular it is for each page. You can go to updated, so it'll give you the newly updated ones. And there's one for Spigot and one for Bucket. Now, normally, if you use paper, either work. But if you use specifically Bucket or specifically Spigot, you'll have to use one or the other. Otherwise, it just won't work. There are some free plugins that are normally paid on here. And the reason they're paid is because Server.pro got distribution rights. Now you won't get like the actual file, and they won't let you download the file to use in your own server, but they will let you test it out for free. And if you go down to the installed plugins, you can see every plugin that you have installed. Now, you can only have 10 plugins at a time, which is fair because it's a free hosting, and most free hostings do either 5, 10, or 15 free plugins before you have to pay to get more plugins. And once again, do not buy a paid server from any of these hosts. There are some feature lock things like the scheduler, SQL, and backups, but that's okay, because you don't need these if you're using a free server to play with friends. I really like the worlds because we can create a world YouTube level type. Let's make it flat. Generate structures. No. So that means the world name will be called YouTube in the files. Like that one's KJK. This will be called YouTube. The level type, which means if it's default, it's a normal world. If it's flat, it's a flat world. If it's large biomes, that means the biomes will just be increased sized. And amplified means things are just bigger, like mountains are bigger. But let's go to default, and we can obviously turn generate structures on, which is pretty self-explanatory. Now let's put in a level seed. This, you can do any seed you want, which is nice. And I think my favorite part about this is the data packs. Normally you'll have to go to files, you have to find the world, find the data pack server. If there's no data pack file, you have to make a file. You gotta like get a bunch of weird things. But with this, just upload the data pack, create the world. I don't actually have any data packs to upload, but pretty much you'd upload it, press create world, and you will give it a second. It'll reload, and you'll have your world. Now, if you want to, you can delete the old world, or you can keep it. It's up to you. Now, if we go to the files, you'll find, oh, did it work? Here we go, YouTube, that's the world. If you upload a data pack, it would be in here. I also like the file explorer because it's clean and it's just, you can easily get back and forth between files. It does create nether and end biomes too, so don't worry about that. I think the nether and end are not flat like the main world, but you'll see for yourself, I guess, when you go into it. Now, the server page is really cool because let's put YouTube test. My spelling is terrible today. Let's press save. Server page, and boom, we have our server page. It'll show you the IP. It'll show you the description. It'll show you the status, what game it's for, and the number IP. And it'll also show you the players, and you can make donations. Now, I don't have this set up, but you can turn to PayPal, PaySafe, any card, and SMS. I'm not quite sure how SMS works. I think it's like Apple Pay or something, but I've never actually tested it. But it's a nice way to if you want to make a public server for a very small community. This is like 5 players on at a time, and the server just explodes. Not really. That's a joke. You can give this to them, and they'll get all the information they need. Now, you can always change the settings. Let's put accept donations. No. And let's put, well, we don't want to show the IP. You have to click Save Configuration. Now, if you don't scroll enough, you'll save this. You'll be like, oh, I'll press Save. It doesn't work. As you can see, it's all still there. Now, let's go back. Let's turn IP off and donations off. You have to press Save Configuration. Let's go back. And boom. All that's gone. It's all gone. Now you only have your presentation. Now, the FTP file uploader is really useful. If you don't know what the FTP is, I will make a video maybe in a day or two about it. But pretty much what this does is it allows you to connect it to an external file uploader, and you can take a file, upload it, and if your Wi-Fi cuts out, it won't cancel the upload, and it'll keep uploading pretty much for you. Because if you were to go on the files, and if I were to upload a file, and my Wi-Fi cut out, or something got corrupted, it would just completely cancel, and I'd lose all my progress. Or if you're editing a file specifically, it's mainly for editing files. Like if I were to edit the config, I was typing blah 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 blah, and my Wi-Fi went out, and boom, it didn't save. As you can see, with FTP, you'll be able to save it if your Wi-Fi cuts out, or I've never had my computer shut down, but I think it saves anyways if you don't, as long as you don't like blue screen. Um, but that is now my main problem with Server.pro is the 1 hour time limit. I've had this up for a little bit, so it's 29 minutes. But every time it's about to expire, you have to click renew and you have to do a CACHPA, which is fine. I mean, if you're not a robot, it shouldn't be too bad. But if you're just playing on the server and you forget, your server goes down and you got to start it up again. And you might get corruption if you let it shut down, because it'll emergency shut down. But that is it for Server.pro, and I will be switching over to my number 2. And on the number 2 spot is gonna have to be Aternos. The main reason it is number 2 is because there's no time limit, unlike Server.pro, which just personally annoys me. They also have a really nice options page where you can edit how many slots your server has set to 50, for example. You can change the main game mode. So if you put to creative, anyone that joined would be put to creative, or adventure, or even spectator, and they wouldn't be able to change it without permissions. You can easily change the difficulty from peaceful to hard, or whatever you're set to. You can enable whitelist and disable it, and it shows you what setting it's changing. So game mode equals creative, it'll change game mode equals survival. That's just what is being shown in the actual server.properties file. So you can turn PvP off, which will make it so you can't fight each other. Cracked, which is really good, because if someone doesn't have the full version of Minecraft, they can play. But there are some downsides, as they still wouldn't have full access to every item, and it would be kind of like laggy sometimes. Disable command blocks, fly, turn on and off monster spawning, make it so the nether is enabled, so if they made another portal it wouldn't work. Force game mode, which would force them into this, and they would never be able to change it. You can make it so a resource pack was required, and then you can put the resource pack URL in here. So if it was like HTTPS myresource.com or something, and it would like download it if you went there. My spelling sucks. It would force them to download it. And spawn protection. Let's say we set this 16. In 16 blocks all around spawn, no one but operators can break, place, or do anything. So if you wanted the whole world to be untouchable, you could just set that to a huge number, save it. Oh, that didn't work. Well, let's try that. We can set it to a big number, as big as we want. Probably around here. I would just install a plugin for it though, because this only goes a certain amount, and if they get out of this area, they can start doing stuff. The console, I don't like it because it's okay. Well, the server's offline, but I don't like it because it's no color coding and it's kind of hard to read. If you want the color coding and for it to be easy to read, you have to go to your log, which it's not bad. Look, it's fine, but it's just inconvenient having 2 different options for it. Because if I'm looking at something and be like, oh, that's it, I can just go down and type my command. But I'll have to, be like going through different things. Because honestly, I don't know why they did that. Now the players tab is also nice because they've set it into different options with buttons. So let's say we want to whitelist myself. I think I've already put someone in here, but let's just put another person, and then boom, KJ239 is on the whitelist. And if I want to delete it, boom, just delete it. And then just go back to click the players again, and we can add ops. Once again, just add whoever you want as an op, and boom, they're an operator. Same thing goes for the bands and IP bands. You're gonna go here. You're gonna ban yourself. It might not work because I'm actually an operator, so it does work. Okay, and boom, I'm banned. I can't join. It'll say I'm banned. And let's go to banned IPs. It's the same thing as bands. It's just you have to have their IP. You can get their IP with essentials, If you're on the server, you can do /whois player, give you their IP, last time they logged in, everything about them that a server owner will need. Um, Now let's go to the software. This honestly is my favorite part. Main reason why it is actually number two. First of all, it's super clean. Um, you can add so many things: Bedrock, Pocket Mine. You can add Vanilla, Paper or Bucket, Forge, which is for mods, Snapshots. So that would be like the April Fool or something, or like whatever you set it to. Now there's only a few right now, but they might update it in the future. I'm not sure because I don't really use this. And then you got Fabric, which is the same thing as Forge. It's just it runs faster and it's where all the newer mods are. And my favorite thing is the mod packs. Some of the most popular mod packs are on here. There's only four, which whatever. I mean, at least there are mod packs. And if you go down, there's Magma, Glowstone. Never heard of either of these two, but Mohist. Don't use Mohist. It is they've been exposed for like changing server information and like making you download sketchy things. This was recent though, so that's why they probably haven't updated it. Just I would advise staying away from Mohist. And the reason why I keep closing out ads and keep popping up is this is how they afford the free server hosting. They'll put ads everywhere. And if you turn on an ad blocker, it'll just give you a screen and it won't let you do anything. And the files, personally, I don't like the layout. The functionality is good. I will admit. It's a little bit slow, but it's good. It's empty, okay. It shows you the size of all the files. You can download it, you can delete it. You can upload your own files, you can create files. I just don't like the design, personally. But that's honestly an opinion base. It's up to you whether or not you like it. And the Worlds tab isn't as good as Server.pro because you can upload data packs. But Optimize feature is really important because it'll pretty much just make your server altogether run faster and utilize storage and resources. I'm not quite sure what Force Upgrade though does. You'll have to click the question mark. But I think it just upgrades the world every time you upgrade the version. If you go to options, there's a few options like the seed, hardcore, the difficulty. You can change all this like announcements, command block, output, just a bunch of all the game rule stuff pretty much. You can go through this and read it or pause the video if you want to see it. There's too much for me to actually say altogether. And now, this actually might be the only reason it's above Server.pro, other than the 1 hour timer, is they have backups. The backup setting is weird. Connect to your Google account. I think it saves the world file to your Google or something, or the entire server. But it's better to have a backup than to not have a backup. If like something happens or like corruption, you can always just put it back, and it's super nice to have. It's like just rolling back everything. And now another amazing feature of Aternos has to be their access. You can share your access with anyone else that is on Aternos. Like mine's KJ239. I'm not sure if this will actually work because it's because I'm already actually on this. But it would be what is up here. Oh, my computer's lagged. So if your friend, let's say they were like, I don't know, KJK, add them. Username not found. But if they were an actual account, it would add them, and then they would be able to go to their service tab, right up here, and they would see it somewhere here. And they could click it, and they get access to it. They can change files, they can upload files, they can do everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Aternos, and now on to the number one spot. And for my number one spot is going to be Minehut. First of all, you get your own custom IP, so obviously the name is weird. Let's just make it KJK 239. And you'll have to restart for it to actually take place. So I'm not going to restart it for the sake of the video. But you get your own IP, which is nice. In the actual Minehut server, the hub, your server will be on a public thing. So if you bought credits for real world money or you won them from a Minehut event, you could change it. Um, Now I would not recommend actually making a server on Minehut that's paid. Like I said, for all of these, it's not the best idea. You can change the server version, the server type. You can change the version all the way down to 1.8. You can get all the spigot, sponge. You get the fabric, vanilla, and the MOTD. It's what happens if you put this in the server list. Oh, there, it's updated. In the server list, this will be under it. Like on Hypixel, you'll see it has like the sale or whatever, and you can actually make it colorful with the color codes. If you just look up Minecraft color codes, it'll show you. And K makes it all scrambled, and 2 makes green. And if you wanted to be on the Minehut hub for people to see, visible. If you don't, put it as not visible, save, and boom. Now, of course, you can make it a category if you had it on visible, which mine isn't going to be, and it's only visible when it's on. Now, the server properties. This is really clean in my opinion. You get your resource pack, the upload information. You just get more in-depth stuff than all the other things. Press save changes. You can make your server stop or reset the whole thing. Now, I wouldn't do this. It's called Danger Zone for a reason. Neither of these is bad because this just makes it shut down immediately, and this just resets everything. And now, if we go over to our console, it is really nice because you got color coded completely. If you were to enter a command, it'll show you, like that's you entering command, and it goes unknown, type /help. So if you type help, it'll show the help, and it's just really clean in my opinion. And if you are getting an add-on from the store, you could add it here, but I don't have any. Let's go to like scripts or like worlds. Now, if you go to file manager, you can upload any plugin or anything you want. It's really clean. It's the fastest file manager. It is the cleanest, in my personal, just the best. And there's a side thing here. So let's go plugins. Let's go VIA version. Let's go config. You could also see where you are completely. If you want to go home, all the way there. You want to just quick go into something, look at stuff. Boom, you're in Bukkit. And the world, you can save the world, reset the world, put your world seed, or upload your own world, which the other server hosts have not had. You can also see your uptime, what version you have, your plan, the free plan, which is only 10 players, but it's fine because more than 10 players, the server will not work very well, and the proxy. You don't need to worry about this because it doesn't really matter at all to someone just making a Minehut server pretty much. And backups. This is really nice because you can make a backup. Like, all right, let's make one. You can make a backup in the actual panel, unlike where you had to download it to your Google Drive. And it'll do one every hour, so you'll never lose data. Now, of course, I like having the upload plugins thing straight, like auto downloaded from the actual website, but it's really not that hard to find plugins and go like, let's say we wanted, let's say VIA version. VIA version. You just go to the Spigot MC page, click download, it'll download it for you, and boom, you have it downloaded. Now, keep in mind, it will say it will harm your computer, unless you download it from a sketchy website or some sketchy developer like this. 1.2 million downloads, they're not going to do anything. You press keep. It doesn't matter. I'm going to cancel it because I already have like 100 of them on my computer. It's just, it says it's dangerous because these type of files can execute certain things that'll ruin your computer if it's like a virus. So just be careful when you're doing this. But Spigot generally checks whether or not you have uploaded a virus. So you most likely won't get a virus from this. There's all their things on Minehut, not just their server page. You can go to the shop, get some stuff, server icons, you can buy some cool plugins. like I said, I wouldn't really recommend doing it. Um, my server did deactivate because no one was on, and once again, you have to buy a paid plan if you want it to be on, but it's not really worth buying a paid plan. It just isn't. And it also only takes 30 seconds to start. They'll show you a tutorial on how to do something. Like this is the backups one, which is why it's showing us. It takes 30 seconds to start, and then boom, it started. Now, it's just downloading because it's making a it's downloading the world. But Minehut is just, in my opinion, the cleanest, best functioning, and it is the smoothest as in gameplay. It doesn't lag at all. Like, it will if you get too many players and too many plugins, but it just has the most functionality in my opinion. And I think it's just the best all around. Like, the file manager, everything. And you can't set up an FTP file like on Server.pro. Um, but it doesn't really matter because you don't really need to. They have their own like there's auto saves. I'm pretty sure, so it auto saves every time you do something. But that's pretty much all it is to Minehut. Thank you to whoever watched the entire video to the end. I hope you guys found this list helpful for all of your plugin testing or playing with your friends. My Minecraft server and Discord server are both linked down in the description below. We are just about ready to release the Minecraft server. We are looking for players, staff, content creators. We just need everyone. I am sorry for any background noise. My computer has still yet to arrive, and I will be building a new one for higher quality videos. And keep in mind, this is my first video ever recorded and edited, so I'm still learning. But thank you guys for supporting me and my channel.